Chapter 1: A Fateful Encounter. A sudden downpour blanketed Atlanta on a December afternoon, bringing with it a chill that crept through every crack and coated the windows of the small cafe nestled along the quiet street in a layer of mist. Pine Brew had been Lana Pierce's sanctuary for the past 3 years, a simple cafe with warm golden lights and the lingering aroma of freshly ground coffee in the air. Lana stood behind the counter, carefully drying each white porcelain cup. Outside, the rain drummed steadily on the awning, blending with the soft jazz playing from an old radio tucked into the corner of the cafe. She loved her job, even if it seemed unremarkable to others. For Lana, every day here was a quiet moment where she found peace. Far from the painful memories of her past, she had chosen Atlanta as a safe haven, a place to live a simple life, away from the noise and haste. That rainy afternoon felt like any other until the cafe door swung open, letting in a gust of cold wind and the soft chime of the entry bell. Lana glanced up from the counter, her eyes briefly scanning the new arrival. A tall man in a charcoal gray suit stepped in, the fabric fitting snugly as if tailor-made. His dark brown hair was slightly tousled and raindrops still clung to his shoulders. Tyler Brooks entered, shaking his hair lightly as his gray-blue eyes swept over the room before settling on Lana. She didn't recognize him immediately. Perhaps the light from outside cast shadows over half his face, or maybe the years apart had blurred her memory of the boy she once knew. But Tyler remembered. With just one glance, his eyes brightened with recognition, realizing the woman behind the counter was none other than Lana, the childhood friend he had once been so close to. "Lana Pierce?" Tyler stepped toward the counter, his voice uncertain, as if afraid he might have mistaken her. Lana frowned slightly. The name sounded familiar, yet she couldn't place it right away. "It's me, Tyler Brooks. Do you remember?" In that moment, time seemed to stand still. The name Tyler Brooks stirred long-forgotten memories in Lana's mind. Endless summer days beneath the old oak tree in front of her house, laughter echoing across the fields, and the image of a young Tyler chasing after her whenever she climbed the highest branches. "Tyler," Lana gasped, her eyes widening in surprise. "Is it really you?" Tyler smiled, a familiar, unforgettable smile. But now that smile carried the weight of years and the maturity brought by life's twists and turns. "My goodness, how long has it been?" Lana set the cup down, wiping her hands on her apron before stepping out from behind the counter to stand in front of Tyler. 10 years, maybe close to that," Tyler replied, his eyes never leaving Lana, as if to confirm she was indeed standing before him. "You've changed so much," Lana said softly, offering a gentle smile. "You're nothing like the boy who used to chase me around the fields. And you," Tyler tilted his head slightly, "are still the same Lana." They stood there for a brief moment, allowing old memories to resurface. Outside, the rain continued to fall, creating a perfect backdrop for this unexpected reunion. "Would you like to sit down? I'll make you a cup of coffee," Lana offered, trying to keep her voice steady even as emotion swirled inside her. "I'd love that." Tyler nodded, choosing a table near the window, where he could look out at the small oak tree across the street. Lana brought him a steaming cup of black coffee. As she set it down, she noticed Tyler's quiet gaze fixed on her. "When did you move to Atlanta?" Lana asked, sitting across from him. 3 years ago, Tyler replied, gently stirring his coffee with a spoon. "My work is mostly here, but I never thought I'd see you again." Lana smiled faintly, glancing outside at the oak tree standing tall in the rain. "I didn't expect it either. Atlanta's a big city." Tyler nodded, but his eyes remained on Lana, as if he were contemplating something deeper. "Do you keep in touch with anyone from home?" Tyler's voice softened, tinged with a distant tone. Lana shook her head, her expression briefly clouded with sadness. "Not really. I prefer the quiet life here." Tyler understood. He didn't press further. Instead, they shifted the conversation to memories of their childhood, climbing trees, playing hide-and-seek beneath the oak, and stargazing on warm summer nights. By the time the clock struck near 7 p.m., the cafe had begun to empty. Lana glanced outside. The rain had eased, but the air remained chilly. "Would you like to take a walk? I'm finishing my shift soon," Lana suggested, untying her apron. Tyler smiled, standing and slipping into his coat. Absolutely. I'd love to see if that old oak tree is still there. They stepped outside, the cold wind brushing against them. But with Tyler by her side, Lana felt a warmth she hadn't experienced in a long time. Their footsteps echoed softly along the rain-soaked pavement, leading them toward the old oak tree, where memories seemed to linger, as vivid and alive as ever. Welcome to Soul Stories. Today we bring you a heartwarming tale. Let us know which city you're tuning in from around the world. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to catch more meaningful stories. Chapter 2. A New Beginning. The Blossoming of Friendship. From that rainy afternoon onward, Tyler Brooks became a regular at Pine Brew. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning, and sometimes on weekends, he would appear right on time, entering with a gentle smile and greeting Lana with warm eyes. He always chose the corner table by the window, where he could gaze out at the old oak tree standing outside the cafe. Lana noticed that Tyler's presence never felt intrusive. On the contrary, every time she saw him sitting there, sipping his black coffee and occasionally reading a book, she felt an odd sense of calm. Tyler never pried into her life or asked too many questions. He was simply there, like an old friend she had unexpectedly crossed paths with. One crisp January morning, the sky was clear, but the lingering cold still hung in the air. Lana was busy handling the morning rush, but her eyes occasionally drifted to Tyler's usual spot. He sat quietly, as serene as ever, as if the world outside couldn't touch him. When the crowd thinned, Lana brought a fresh cup of coffee to Tyler's table. "It's cold today. Would you like to try a latte instead of black coffee?" she said with a soft smile, placing the cup in front of him. Tyler looked up, his face lighting up with Lana's smile. "You're probably right. A latte sounds better for this weather." She sat down across from him, wrapping her hands around her own cup for warmth. "You come here quite often. Don't you get tired of it?" Tyler shook his head, gazing out the window. "Sometimes, but the atmosphere here makes me feel at ease. That oak tree," he nodded toward the large oak outside, "reminds me of home." Lana fell silent for a moment, her eyes following his to the oak. "That tree reminds me of the mischievous boy who climbed too high and couldn't figure out how to get down." Tyler laughed. "Who else but me? Do you remember how we used to sit under that tree for hours? You always had your notebook, scribbling things down. I thought you'd become a writer." Lana shrugged. "Maybe I once thought so too, but life sometimes takes us in different directions." Tyler took a sip of his latte, his expression contemplative. "Have you ever thought about going back to Crestwood?" Lana gently shook her head. "I left to find a new beginning, and Atlanta was where I chose to start over." Tyler didn't press further. He understood that everyone had their reasons for leaving the past behind. Sometimes returning wasn't as simple as it seemed. In the days that followed, Tyler and Lana talked more frequently. He shared stories about his work in investment, the projects he was involved in, and how his constant travel left little time for himself. "My job keeps me busy," Tyler admitted one late afternoon. "Investment is a cutthroat business. Every decision can change people's lives." Lana nodded. "Sounds stressful." "Sometimes it is." Tyler smiled but didn't elaborate. He chose not to mention that he was the CEO of a large company in downtown Atlanta. Instead, he kept the conversation light, as if he were just an ordinary man seeking a bit of peace in the quiet cafe. In return, Lana opened up about her early days in the city. "Atlanta isn't as easy to live in as I thought. It's a big place, and sometimes I feel lost." Tyler listened attentively, his eyes reflecting empathy. "But you managed. You built a life here, even if it wasn't easy." "Yes," Lana agreed with a soft smile. "Pine Brew keeps me grounded. Working here makes me feel like I belong somewhere." Their conversations often stretched longer than expected. Lana found herself laughing more around Tyler. There was something comforting about him, as if the years apart had never existed. One late evening, as the cafe neared closing, Tyler was the only customer left. Lana wiped down the counter while Tyler approached, coat in hand. "Want to take a walk?" Tyler asked, his voice warm. "I think there's something nice about walking under the oak trees on a cold night." Lana hesitated briefly before nodding. "All right, but just one lap." They stepped out into the night, walking side by side beneath the dark sky. Oak leaves drifted down around them, and the streetlights cast soft shadows along the cobblestone path. "Thank you for coming back into my life, Tyler," Lana said suddenly, her voice soft. Tyler turned to her, his eyes gentle. Maybe it was fate. Under the large oak tree, they stood quietly, letting the wind weave through the branches. In that moment, beneath the city lights and the faint scent of oak in the air, Lana felt as though she was slowly reclaiming a part of herself she had long forgotten. Chapter 3. Ghosts of the Past. Ethan's Return. Late one evening at Pine Brew, the atmosphere gradually settled as the last customer left the cafe. Lana Pierce exhaled softly, removing her apron and hanging it on the hook by the espresso machine. The cafe had quieted, leaving only the ticking of the wall clock and the soft glow of the lights reflecting on the spotless floor. She dimmed most of the lights, leaving just a small one by the window, and slowly stepped outside. The cold air hit her immediately, and a gust of wind made Lana shiver. She pulled her coat tighter around her, the sound of her boots clicking lightly against the rain-soaked pavement. As Lana crossed the street toward the parking lot, her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out and glanced at the screen. An unknown number had sent a message. "Hello, Lana. It's been a long time." Lana's grip on the phone tightened instinctively. There was no name attached, but she didn't need to guess. She knew who it was. Ethan. His smile flashed in her mind, gentle but laced with control and haunting words. It had been over 3 years since she'd heard his name, but one simple message was enough to stir up memories she thought she had buried long ago. Lana stood frozen for a moment, her fingers trembling as she typed a short reply. "Don't contact me again." Seconds later, another message appeared. "Don't you miss me? I just want to see you, just once. We need to talk." Lana turned off her phone screen and stuffed it back into her coat pocket. Her pace quickened, heart pounding in her chest. Ethan had once been a significant part of her life, but was also the reason she fled her hometown and moved to Atlanta. 2 days later, Lana began to notice the strange occurrences. Every evening after leaving the cafe, she felt like someone was watching her. She never saw anyone clearly, but fleeting shadows and the sensation of eyes lingering on her made her uneasy. In the mornings, she found multiple messages from unknown numbers. Even though she blocked them, Ethan always found another way to reach her. "You can't hide forever, Lana. We belong together." She endured sleepless nights, haunted by recurring nightmares that left her drenched in cold sweat. One evening, as the cafe was preparing to close, Tyler Brooks walked in as he usually did. The moment he saw Lana, he noticed the exhaustion and weight behind her eyes. "Are you okay?" Tyler placed his cup on the counter and gazed at her with concern. Lana forced a smile, but it quickly faded. "I'm fine. Just tired from work." Tyler remained silent for a moment, his eyes seeming to pierce through the walls she had carefully built. "Lana, you don't have to hide things from me. If something's wrong, I want to help." Lana hesitated. Until now, she had always kept her past to herself, unwilling to let anyone know about Ethan or the real reason she left Crestwood. But under Tyler's patient and sincere gaze, the walls she had constructed seemed to crack. Finally, she sighed and sat down across from him. "Do you remember when I told you leaving Crestwood was the hardest decision I ever made?" Lana's eyes fixed on the rim of her coffee cup, tracing the delicate white porcelain. Tyler nodded. "Yes, you said you needed a fresh start. The new beginning was part of it, but the real reason was Ethan." Tyler's brow furrowed slightly, surprise evident on his face. "Ethan? He was my ex-boyfriend," Lana continued, her voice softening. "At first, everything was fine, but over time, he became controlling. Ethan wanted to know where I was, who I met, and what I did. When I tried to leave, he wouldn't let me. He was abusive, physically and emotionally. Every time I tried to escape, he would find a way to pull me back." Lana's grip on her cup tightened unconsciously. "Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. I left town and cut off all contact. It's been 3 years, until last week." Tyler remained silent, his expression darkening as he listened to Lana's words. "He reached out," Lana said, her voice trembling slightly, "sending messages, and I think he's following me." Tyler leaned forward, his voice calm but firm. "Lana, If Ethan is a threat, you don't have to face this alone. Tyler, I don't want to burden you. Lana shook her head. This is my problem. You're not a burden. Tyler's voice cut through her protests, his eyes unwavering. I want to help you. No one should have to live in fear, especially not you. Lana met his gaze, torn between doubt and the desire to trust him. After a moment, she nodded softly. Thank you, Tyler. Outside the cafe window, the old oak tree stood tall beneath the dim streetlights. But this time, Lana didn't feel so alone. The shadows of the past might have returned, but at least now she knew she didn't have to face them by herself. Chapter 4. Tyler Revealed. Protection and Secrets. The Atlanta sun rose, casting a golden hue over the tall buildings. Early in the morning, Pine Brew was quieter than usual, and Lana was busy rearranging the shelves behind the counter. Tyler Brooks walked in, but this time he didn't head to his usual seat by the window. Instead, he approached the counter directly, placing one hand on the wooden surface, his expression slightly serious. Are you free after your shift today? Tyler asked, his voice low but gentle. Lana glanced up, setting the cup she was holding back on the shelf. I think so. Is something wrong? I'd like to take you somewhere, Tyler replied, offering a subtle yet meaningful smile. Curiosity flickered in Lana's eyes, but she didn't question him further. She trusted Tyler, and his presence always made her feel safe. 3 hours later, when Tyler's car stopped in front of a towering glass building in downtown Atlanta, Lana stared up in amazement. The shimmering structure reflected the midday sun, and the words Brooks Capital gleamed prominently on the facade. Tyler led her through the grand lobby, where sharply dressed employees respectfully greeted him. It didn't take long for Lana to realize that Tyler wasn't just an ordinary friend from the past. This is... Lana hesitated, her gaze fixed on the company's logo displayed on the main wall. Tyler glanced back, smiling. My office. She froze in place. You're the owner of Brooks Capital? Yes, but I never thought it was important to mention when I was with you. Lana felt her heart slow. To her, Tyler had always been the same childhood friend, a simple and familiar presence. But standing in this grand office space, she realized he was one of the most influential businessmen in Atlanta. Why didn't you ever tell me? Lana asked, her voice tinged with disbelief. Tyler held her gaze for a moment before shrugging lightly. I didn't want money or my career to change the way you saw me. I like how you treat me, like the Tyler you knew from years ago. Lana saw the sincerity in his words. Even surrounded by luxury, Tyler was still the same boy who climbed oak trees with her. They stepped into Tyler's private office, offering a sweeping view of the city skyline. He sat down and gestured for Lana to take a seat across from him. Now, he began, his eyes darkening slightly, tell me everything about Ethan. Lana lowered her gaze, her hands twisting nervously in her lap. She didn't want to burden Tyler, but she knew by the look in his eyes that he wouldn't let it go. He's been texting me, Lana admitted with a sigh, and lately I feel like someone is following me after I leave the cafe. Tyler leaned back in his chair, his expression growing tense. I can't let that continue. Tyler, you don't have to get involved, Lana protested, looking up at him with quiet determination. This is my problem. I don't want to be a burden. Tyler shook his head. You're not a burden, Lana. I care about you. Lana opened her mouth to respond but paused. Warmth spread through her chest at his words. What are you planning to do? She asked, sensing that Tyler had already thought this through. First, I'm having my security team watch over you, Tyler replied calmly. They'll make sure you're safe, even if you don't notice them. Lana's eyes widened. Tyler, that's not necessary. Lana, Tyler interrupted, his tone soft yet firm. I won't stand by while you're in danger. Trust me. Lana couldn't argue with the conviction in his gaze. 3 days later, Lana thought perhaps things would quiet down, but she was wrong. On Saturday afternoon, as Pine Brew filled with customers, the door swung open and a familiar figure stepped inside. Lana froze, recognizing Ethan immediately. He wore a black leather jacket, his dark hair slightly disheveled, but his features were as sharp as ever. Ethan stood at the counter, his gray eyes locking onto Lana's with a faint, unsettling smile. It's been a while, Lana, Ethan said, his voice sending a chill down her spine. Lana's grip on her apron tightened as she took a deep breath to steady herself. Ethan, you shouldn't be here. I just want a cup of coffee. We're old friends, aren't we? Ethan smirked, but there was a glint of threat in his eyes. Lana glanced around the cafe, hoping Tyler would appear as he often did, but he wasn't there. Please leave, Lana said softly, her voice trembling. I will, Ethan shrugged. Once I finish my coffee. Lana's hands shook as she turned to prepare his drink, but before Ethan could leave, the door opened once more. Tyler stepped inside, his eyes immediately landing on Ethan. Ethan Hale? Tyler's voice cut through the cafe as he crossed the room to stand in front of Ethan. Ethan narrowed his eyes, his smirk widening. Who's asking? Tyler Brooks, Tyler introduced himself. I believe you know that Lana doesn't want to see you. The cafe fell silent, the tension thick. Ethan's eyes darkened as he leaned closer, his tone dropping. And you think you can stop me? If you come near Lana again, Tyler said, his voice calm but unyielding, I won't hold back. Ethan scowled, standing slowly and casting one last glance at Lana. This isn't over. Tyler watched as Ethan exited the cafe before turning to Lana with concern. Are you all right? Lana gave a weak smile, relief flooding her. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler gently took her hand. I told you, I'll protect you. Are you still following the story? If yes, comment Coca-Cola. Haha. Chapter 5. The final confrontation and Ethan's arrest. After the tense encounter at Pine Brew, Ethan did not stop. The threatening messages to Lana became more frequent. Every evening as she left the cafe, she felt the weight of unseen eyes following her from a distance. One late evening, as Lana locked up the cafe for the night, she noticed a car parked at the corner of the street. Its lights were off, but the engine hummed faintly. She tried to ignore it and quickened her pace, but Ethan's familiar silhouette emerged from a nearby alley. Lana, Ethan's voice rang out as he stepped in front of her, blocking her path. We need to talk. Lana took a step back, her hands trembling as she fumbled for her phone in her coat pocket. Ethan, I'm calling the police, she said, her voice shaky. Ethan smirked, taking a step closer. The police can't hold me for long. You know that. Go ahead, try. Lana turned to walk away, but Ethan grabbed her wrist, yanking it sharply and causing her phone to drop to the ground. You can't run forever, Lana, Ethan growled. I just want to take you home. You belong to me, before, now, and always. At the peak of her despair, a voice pierced through the cold night. Let her go. Tyler emerged from the shadows, his eyes cold and burning with fury. You again? Ethan tightened his grip on Lana's wrist, but Tyler didn't flinch. I warned you once, Ethan. Leave her alone or you'll regret it. Ethan let out a dark laugh. You think you can stop me? Lana and I were together. You have no right to come between us. Tyler stepped closer, his gaze razor sharp. No one is coming between anything. Lana left you because of you, Ethan. As Ethan tried to drag Lana along, Tyler lunged forward, forcefully pulling Ethan away from her. Ethan shoved Tyler in retaliation, and the two men faced each other in a tense standoff. Lana trembled with fear, but Tyler positioned himself protectively in front of her. Before Ethan could strike Tyler, a black car screeched to a halt nearby. Two men in dark suits, Tyler's private security team, stepped out and swiftly approached. Ethan Hale? One of the men called out, flashing a police badge. We have a warrant for your arrest on charges of harassment, stalking, and assault. Ethan's eyes narrowed at Tyler. What did you do? Tyler held Lana's shoulder protectively, guiding her behind him. I did what was necessary to keep her safe. Lana watched in silence as Ethan's wrists were cuffed. As he was led to the patrol car, he glanced back, his eyes dark and brimming with hatred. This isn't over, Lana, he muttered. But this time, Lana didn't shiver. She stood tall, and Tyler's reassuring squeeze on her hand grounded her. At the police station, Tyler and Lana provided evidence, including all the threatening messages Ethan had sent over the past few weeks. Security footage from cameras around Pine Brew and reports from Tyler's security team further solidified the case, documenting Ethan's stalking and harassment. Lana was asked to file an official complaint. Though she hesitated at first, she knew it was necessary to put an end to the ordeal. As Lana signed the report, Tyler placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "You're doing the right thing, Lana. This is the first step to ending all of this." With overwhelming evidence against him, Ethan was charged with harassment, invasion of privacy, and violent conduct. He was held in custody, awaiting trial. During the court hearing, Lana sat in the front row with Tyler beside her. As Ethan was convicted and sentenced, Lana felt an immense weight lift off her shoulders. As they left the courthouse, Lana took a deep breath, feeling the crisp air of freedom she had longed for. Tyler smiled at her, taking her hand. "You did it!" Lana squeezed his hand tightly. "I don't know what I would have done without you." "You're not alone, Lana. You'll never have to face anything like this by yourself again." Under the oak tree outside Pine Brew, Lana and Tyler sat quietly, watching the sunlight filter through the leaves. The soft rustle of fallen oak leaves brushed against their shoulders, but this time Lana no longer felt afraid. She knew the storm had passed, and ahead lay a new beginning, a future she had reclaimed for herself. Chapter 6. Rebirth Beneath the Oak Tree. The weeks following Ethan's arrest passed in a rare peace that Lana Pierce hadn't felt in years. But even in the calm, she couldn't deny the emotional exhaustion left by the confrontation. At night, as she lay in bed in her small apartment, she still dreamed of Ethan's cold gaze. Though he was now behind bars and no longer a direct threat, his shadow lingered in her mind, a reminder of the life she once lived under his control. But amidst those dark dreams, something had changed. Tyler Brooks's hand always appeared, pulling her out of the nightmares. She woke to find his presence still there, if only through simple messages. "Did you sleep well? Call me if you need anything." Tyler's quiet but constant presence became the anchor that steadied her each day. 1 month later, the morning sun streamed through Pine Brew's window as Lana stood behind the counter, preparing a latte for a customer. She felt lighter, as if the storm had truly passed. Tyler walked into the cafe, following his usual habit of sitting by the window overlooking the old oak tree outside. He waved at her as he always did, and Lana smiled back. But today there was something different about him. Once the last of the customers had left, Tyler approached the counter and placed his car keys on the wooden surface. "Are you free?" Tyler asked, his eyes glinting with quiet excitement. Lana narrowed her eyes suspiciously. "Where are you taking me this time?" Tyler smiled, not denying it. "I want to take you somewhere." 2 hours later, Lana gazed out the car window as the rural roads leading back to Crestwood unfolded before her. The familiar landscape felt distant yet nostalgic. Rows of towering oak trees lined the road, and memories of childhood slowly drifted back. The car stopped in front of an open field, where a massive oak tree stood tall beneath the blue sky. Lana stepped out, her eyes locking onto the old tree that had borne witness to countless memories shared between her and Tyler. "The oak tree's still here," Lana whispered, brushing her fingers gently against the rough bark. Tyler stood beside her, his gaze soft. "I thought you should return to where it all began, the place that made you who you are today." Lana looked at Tyler, a swell of emotion rising in her chest. For the first time in years, she felt as if she had truly returned, not to escape, but to confront her past. "Do you remember?" Tyler said, his eyes fixed on the high branches. "We used to sit here for hours talking about our wildest dreams." Lana chuckled lightly. "You always wanted to be an explorer, and I dreamed of becoming a writer." "And now we've grown up." Tyler turned to face her, his expression sincere. Slowly, he knelt before Lana and pulled a small velvet box from his jacket pocket. As he opened it, a delicate ring sparkled in the sunlight, reflecting Lana's face through the tiny stones. "Lana Pierce," Tyler said softly, his eyes never leaving hers. "You've taught me so much about strength, resilience, and standing tall through every storm. Since the day I found you again, I knew I didn't want to live without you." Lana's breath caught, her heart racing. "I don't just want to protect you," Tyler continued. "I want to walk beside you through every road ahead. Will you marry me?" Lana stood still for a moment. The old oak tree above seemed to shield them, and she knew that no matter what lay ahead, Tyler would always stand by her. A smile broke across her lips, tears shimmering in her eyes. Yes, I will. Tyler rose, slipping the ring onto her finger before wrapping his arms around her beneath the lush canopy of the oak tree. A few months later, their wedding was simple yet intimate, held beneath the oak tree where Tyler had proposed. Friends, family, and loved ones gathered in the golden afternoon light to witness the sacred moment when Lana and Tyler became husband and wife. As twinkling lights hung from the oak's branches, Lana rested her head on Tyler's shoulder, swaying gently as they danced. She glanced up, meeting his tender gaze. "Thank you," Lana whispered. "For what?" Tyler asked softly. "For always being by my side. For pulling me out of the darkness." Tyler squeezed her hand, pressing a gentle kiss to her forehead. "Thank you, Lana, for letting me love and protect you." Beneath the strong, unwavering oak tree, they embarked on a new chapter, a chapter filled with light, love, and the peace Lana had long yearned for. Thank you for following this story. Please rate it from 1 to 5 stars, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our Soul Stories channel. Your support is the motivation for us to continue bringing more great stories. Haha.